Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay.
Say a few words. I was talking with a man called Dre, African-American man. Does anybody know Dre? Dre told me that he was her lover.
Trey.
I'm sorry. Is that true?
Yeah.
Trey was her lover. All right. He said he had 2 wives before, and he considered her his 3rd wife. He told me that Deseire was a firefighter, a professional firefighter, and she was the head of her unit, the head engineer of her unit. And shortly before she lost her position, somebody else took over her unit for some reason. They sent her firefighting unit into the flames. Every member of her firefighting unit lost their lives. So Deseire had a familiarity with the passing of the body. And she recovered from that. But she had an accident at work as a firefighter. And that's what cost her her career and her survival. I believe that's how she became homeless. The state, huh? Yes. The state did not look after Deseire. So, I just want to read a poem that relates. She had the power of a queen, the power of love, no in between. They're going to carry the day and the hour. Desire's sisters, holy power. We lost her too soon, but don't be forlorn. Others will come like the shining morn. They won't mess with dope and such. They're too real, they're too much. They're gonna toss bad shit out and do things we can all shout about. They'll toss their thunderbolts through the air. They'll lay waste the devil's lair, who rules our world from way down there. Give it up now, get serene. Here come the judge, here come the queen. With a dozen mighty faces saying, where have you been? Where are you headed, are you sure? We need your hearts, the best be pure. From Harriet Tubman to Princess Di, brave good women keeping us high. Power of the heart, power of the sigh. Hope ain't enough for the truly real. The humble ones he still can feel. Hope's a beginning, it's not an end. Because you gotta strive, get strong and mend. Bend this world back into shape, bend it till it's right again, bend it till the wrong lets out its final shriek, and it be gone, forever be gone.
Thank you. So Alicia, you want to, and when you're speaking, so we want everyone to share their stories of how they know Deseire, or crazy things that you did with Deseire, whatever you want to share. But hold the mic up close so that you can be loud enough for everybody to hear. So okay, Alicia, you gonna come? Okay, Crystal, great. Okay.
So Crystal wants to say a couple things first, and then I want to talk about our demands in memory of Deseire Quintero. So Crystal?
Can you hear me? Okay. Deseire was, and I don't want to talk too much, I just want to say that I loved her a huge amount, and I will always remember every word that she's taught me so much. And I think it's terrible, and it didn't have to happen, and it's really fucked up, and I fucking hate it. But I have to think positive, and all I know is that anything and everything that I ever get to take from her is all positive and good, and just the words that I needed to hear at the right time. No sugarcoat, because she didn't do that, but I have a lot of respect for that lady, and now she's gone, and I love her.
So Desiree was very much a pay it forward person. She taught me to pay it forward. She would give you anything she had, even if she had very little. She is the reason I became mostly an activist, and also the reason that I was the Ross Camp liaison. And I've spent a lot of time grieving over this, and I feel like now is the time that we fight back. Desiree was very much about that. And she said this cause is a good cause. We're tired of being treated like dirt. And so that's very important. And so we have set some demands in memory of Deseire Quintero. And the first demand is a moratorium on enforcement of all laws designed to or having the effect of criminalizing the homeless, including the issuing of citations for being in a park after dark, trespass on public property, and the blocking of sidewalks. Dismissal of all pending charges against persons who were forced to break these laws to survive. And we all know that the police are going after the homeless, and that they intentionally wake people up, take their belongings, throw their belongings away. They're making it hard for people to survive, and that's not acceptable. The second demand is immediate opening of the Civic Auditorium and other public buildings vacant at night as emergency shelter for the elderly, disabled, and vulnerable folks this winter. Public disclosure of all vacant, city-owned, city-controlled, and tax-delinquent properties and their designation as available emergency housing for the homeless. A moratorium on evictions of low-income renters facing homelessness. Immediate opening of the city and citizen-organized survival campgrounds for the winter. If they aren't going to give us a location, we're going to set one up ourselves.
Yeah.
Number 3, full compliance, and I mean full compliance with the legal requirements of Martin versus Boise. No more lies. You lied. You did not provide adequate emergency available alternative shelter. You lied in court to a federal district judge. And my friend who was not offered shelter died in the woods because she was not offered shelter. So we want full compliance with the legal requirements of Martin versus Boise, the decision by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that prohibits enactment and enforcement of laws targeting the homeless where no alternative indoor shelter has been provided. Number 4, the firing of Santa Cruz Chief of Police Andrew Mills, City Manager Martin, and Assistant City Manager Susie O'Hara. Why? Because they're involved in anti-homeless policy. They support an anti-homeless agenda. They are, in part, helping the hysteria going around that is enabling the lack of solutions around here. They are the enablers. They are enabling the death of people. And that's not okay. We're here to hold them accountable. Number 5. Fully restore rights to those at 1220 River Street, providing them showers, drinking water, free access to those who make 1220 River their home, and respect the civil rights of all those who live at that city-run camp. Terminate the contract with the Salvation Army and recognize the rights and abilities of the 1220 River Street residents to manage the camp themselves. We're not babies, we're not children, we don't need a nanny. We know how to live and we can manage our own selves. I had a lady tell me that she is upset because she can't ride a bike anymore, and you can only walk in and out of there if you have a bike and can ride a bike. Otherwise you have to get on the shuttle and you're at their convenience whether to come and go or not. Those people aren't in jail. You know, compare the rules and regulations there to a prison work program. It's unacceptable. Number 6, end the seizure of homeless people's personal survival property. Every week now we are having to do an emergency winter shelter drive. It's either Saturday or Sunday outside of Costco. We're asking for tents, blankets, and all these things. Why? Because it's cold outside and the police are stealing people's, and Parks and Rec are stealing people's survival gear on a weekly basis now. And people are going to die if we cannot keep them warm and out of the elements. Number 7, authorize private entities to sponsor portable toilets, provide 24-hour access to the public bathrooms at the Soquel and Locust Street garages, and restore full access to the Loudon Nelson bathrooms with the code if necessary. It's ridiculous that we have no bathrooms around here. People need to use the restroom. All this anti-homeless agenda saying that they're going to ruin the bathrooms, this is ridiculous. You know, they didn't even prove that the Loudon Nelson bathrooms had any type of damage that would justify the closure of them. This is all anti-homeless hysteria going on in this community. We need bathrooms. This is not rocket science. Number 8, demand that Chief Mills, Mayor Watkins, and the City Manager Bernal publicly denounce vigilante violence and harassment against those who cannot afford housing, and remove all anti-homeless hate speech on any city websites and social media platforms. We know that there has been hate speech to the homeless. The city has done nothing to denounce vigilante violence in this community. We have reported that people have been threatened to be set on fire, people's RVs, you know, jumped on, rude notes, you know, Harry the Flame. I have provided screenshots and presentations. I have asked the police chief to denounce publicly vigilante violence. Even though we know that's a given and nobody should be committing violence on anybody else, he knows that's a problem here in Santa Cruz, and he should make a public announcement against it. Number 9, acknowledge the legitimacy of homes on wheels parking in industrial zones, add sanitary facilities and trash pickups, and end the towing of people's homes, even if they are not registered. I don't know if you've been following, but recently they said that if you have over 5 parking tickets, and we all know they come after homeless people and anybody that looks like they're living in their vehicles to try to give them as many tickets as possible. Well, now they're announcing that if you have more than 5, or you have over 5 months of registration past due, they are going to tow your vehicle away, perhaps your home away, causing even more homelessness. Instead of acknowledging right now that in this city, homes on wheels are almost the last affordable option. You know, displacing people onto the streets where you can harass them, where they might die because you know you don't have shelter, is unacceptable. We will not tolerate that. Number 10, because the city is responsible very much for my friend's death, when they lied in court and did not offer adequate shelter when they broke up the Ross camp and displaced over 200 people without a safe place to go, we're asking that October 27th be designated as Deseire Quintero Day in the city of Santa Cruz. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you can see now that's what our demands, and we're not backing down. These demands have been really parts of the 2000 study by the City Council, with something similar to this, the 2017, the grand jury. We can go on and on. It's obvious what needs to happen, and so since the city's not going to do it, we're going to do it. So that's that. Yeah, would anybody else like to say some words about their relationship with Desi, or just about the idea that it's okay to treat our community this way? So feel free to, yeah, come up. Thank you.
I'm really sorry I was late. I'm really sorry I was late.
Barbara, put the mic up near your mouth so I can hear you.
Yeah, you gotta get right in your mouth. There you go.
Like this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
This is really a tragedy. And don't imagine that the city is reading the signals of the level of deterioration in our society. People can be on the streets right next to luxury condominiums going up, up, up and out. It's an outrage, and Deseire is one of the people who is a sacrificial victim. I've been reading a lot about the Holocaust this summer. Holocaust means burn sacrifice. And I feel like the homeless are our sacrificial victims. They're the ones that are suffering. And we need to name that, and we need to express the incredible beauty of the outrage that you just expressed, and the determination to make it change. I met Deseire at the Ross camp, and like so many other people, I just felt her incredible determination and strength. And I loved standing there with her and then sitting on the curb, watching all of the people come up to her and talk to her and look for comfort to her. And she encouraged everybody. I felt like she was a real anchor at that camp. And I'm just very grateful that there are strong women in the world like Deseire, like you, and like so many. And I'm really happy to see so many good people here today.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Coral, and then Drew. Right, you know you're.
On Sunday, I went to community TV, and Andy Mills and Justin Cummings were being interviewed by Steve Plate. I wish I would have pressed more on asking, he didn't want to be called Chief Mills, but asking him if he offered housing to those people who not only were being hauled away when their cars expired. He gave an answer that it was a state issue, but all the other reasons that were just stated by Alicia, people that are displaced because they lied and they didn't have enough shelter. Basically, do they offer shelter? No. They take away your belongings and take them back. Okay. I didn't really know Deseire very well, but when I lived so close to the Ross camp, I would go there a lot, and some of the meetings I attended happened to be at a time I could go, and I noticed she was always the one that was referred to, and they called her from wherever she was in the camp to answer questions, and I just caught that fire in her eyes, and just a real desire to be the one to help, the one to serve, and I really respect that, and I'm sad for her family, but I'm just glad to know a little bit about people like her. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Neighbor?
What?
Our neighbor.
Yeah. Well, I guess I knew Deseire.
Yeah, she just blew smoke all over you when you walked
When I
by.
met her, Bush was in office. Oh, I know. Yeah, it was a long time ago. And we've gone through a lot since then. But after I met her down at HSC, Home Service Center, you know, we've been talking or something. And I can't remember what it was I did, but I'm sure it wasn't proper. I don't know what it was, but she just chewed me out on the spot. I mean, I lost 10 pounds out of my ass, you know, and I mean, I respected her, you know, I mean, I was also scared of her because she's smaller than me, and I had to look down at her, you know, and she always had this way of looking up that you know that if you say the wrong thing, she's gonna jab you or something. And one thing I liked really even better than that was a couple days later, you know, and
Our neighbor?
I wasn't so scared. She wasn't so pissed. She came up, said, "I'm sorry. I probably reacted a little bit harsh." I said, "You frightened me, but I know dynamite comes in small packages." And that's what she was. She always had a sparkle in her eyes. She was always out helping people. When she wasn't helping people, she was planning something to do. And everybody knows she just had all that energy.
I'm tired.
She was always there running around doing stuff.
You can go sit in the car.
Even if the bus camps were still open, I think she would have been up in the pokemons checking on people. I think she would have been around somewhere doing something. You know, getting pizza in the middle of the night to go out and hand it out to people. Des was that kind of person. And even if you didn't agree with her, you know, and you didn't always see eye to eye with her, which was sort of hard sometimes, you know. But you all go out with good respect that, you know, she had passion, she had heart, you know. She always spoke loud, and even though she's gone, I think we'll still hear her voice for a while.
Yeah, her voice is going to roar across this nation. There are vigils like this happening in cities all across the United States honoring Deseire. And I know the first one was actually even before we did a vigil in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Lancaster, Union of the Homeless.
You don't have to talk to me like that. I'm talking to you that way.
Thank
I can't even tease you. You did all fucking retarded.
Okay.
I have a couple things to say in regards. I didn't know her personally, but she made a big impact with what went on with the power outage and all this happening in such a timely fashion. I know that we need to orchestrate something that's going to work for the community as far as the homeless, and it has to be like done constructively where it's not going to get the flack from people who are against it. And I'm hoping that we can orchestrate something that's going to work or to oversee a successful encampment, because that needs to happen in this town, and it's been proven in other cities and states. So, I'm hoping that it can happen for Santa Cruz, because we really need to uphold the face of this